Okay, here's your demonstration for how to model human activity effects in a watershed. This is your watershed. Step 1, grab a straw. Step 2, grab your watershed. Take the straw. Measure 2 centimeters with a ruler from the edge of the watershed. Place the straw 2 centimeters from the edge with the bendy side up and tape it. Make sure it's about a ½ centimeter off the bottom of the watershed. That way water can flow into it, but you don't want it to be too far up because then more stuff will get in it that doesn't need to be in there. So once you've secured it with some tape, that's the end of step 2. Step 3. Pour 1,000 milliliters of sand across the bottom of your watershed. Make sure that you use your hand to spread it out even. This will represent your aquifer layer. So we're gonna have 500 milliliter beakers. So we're gonna have to measure out 2 of these. In the bottom layer. There's the first. The second. Make sure you get it all out of there. To dampen the sand, pour water into the beaker, approximately 250 milliliters, right here. And gently drizzle the water into the sand. Only pour enough water to get all the sand wet, but not enough to have water covering or standing on top of the sand. I'm going to do that right now. Evenly spreading out all the water, but not enough for it to be standing on top. I think I might really not even need, after I pour it all out, shake it around a bit. Man, I think that's probably good. I'm not going to add any more. Probably more like 200 milliliters. Step 5. At this point, you're going to grab your lab question sheet. You're going to answer 1 through 3 concerning the water and the sand. Step 6. You're going to use either Play-Doh or clay, depending on what I give you, to cover 1/2 of the container all the way around with the clay. So, make sure it's on the side with the straw. You're going to want to get your clay and flatten it out. And you're going to want to seal the edges. Make it flat, but not too flat so that it tears. Go ahead and start laying it down. Make sure that you seal the clay alongside. It's very important. If you don't, water will leak down into it. That may not supposed to be there. It's just going to mess up your watershed. You're going to have to put the clay sort of around the straw, make it to where that it makes a natural seal. You patch up any holes. Alright, that's about half. So at the end of it all, it should look kind of like that. You take your spray bottle, you're going to put it on the mist setting, which means that it's not quite all the way in, but it's close to being turned all the way to where it won't stop turning anymore. You test it by spraying it into the sink. See, I got it too tight. So I'll take my mister. I will put 3 squirts on the watershed and observe how the clay and the water interact, which means you're going to answer the questions 1 and 2 on Play-Doh and water observations. 1, 2, 3. Next, you're going to add a gravel layer to your aquifer. Be sure to check your student guide to see how many milliliters of gravel you should add in. Go ahead and start evenly spreading it out on my aquifer. Turn off the first beaker. Grab the second beaker. And then actually what you're going to want to make happen, after you have your first layer of gravel, you're going to want to make a gentle slope starting on the edge with your straw. You're going to want to add another beaker of gravel here and have it sloping down into the rest of the watershed. You want it to come about 2 centimeters from the top of the container, so you can give that a good measure. Which is exactly where I'm at. You should only need to add 1,500 milliliters of pea gravel, which makes 3 of these. These are 500 milliliters apiece. And that should be able to cover the bottom with 1,000, and then the additional 500 should be able to cover the hill. Next, you're going to want to kind of have somebody hold the ruler along the edge. You're going to want to pour water in your watershed, starting over here, away from the straw, until it gets to be 3 centimeters away from the top of your hill. You can actually see that on the student sheet on the diagram, about right there. So I will grab my water. I'm going to start putting my water in it at a slow rate. I don't want to rush it. And then whenever it gets to be about 3 centimeters from the top, that's when I'm going to stop it. So really it should cover this bottom layer, but it should stop about 3 centimeters from the top, which is about there. So I'm going to go ahead and stop it. You can see here, got a nice little layer up here, and then the water layer down here. Now you're going to answer the questions for rocks and gravel, which is 1 through 3, and you move on to the next step. Next, you'll have your green felt, which you're going to need to add to the top of the hill. Make sure it's touching 3 sides of the tank, including the side with the straw. Put my felt on there. It may not exactly touch all 3 sides of this tank, but make sure it's at least close. We're going to fold up a sticky note and pretend that it's a house. We're going to put that on one side of the felt. That'll represent an urban area. This felt in this area represents lawns, parks, golf courses. The other half of the felt represents rural areas, including crops, pastures, open and forested land. Next, you're going to take the powdered grape drink mix and sprinkle it over both the urban and the rural felt. The drink mix represents urban and rural pollutants, such as lawn chemicals or crop fertilizers. So you're going to grab your drink mix. You're going to get 2 milliliters of drink mix. Sprinkle it over the urban and rural felt areas. Make sure you keep it on the felt and not in the water. Next, you're going to take some food coloring and place 6 drops of food coloring just off the edge of the felt into the water in one single location. That means 1 drop on top of the other. The food coloring will represent the wastewater from a local manufacturing plant that is dumping illegally. So we'll take 6 drops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Watch the movement of the food coloring for about 5 minutes, and then complete the pollution observation section in your student journal. Now you're going to make it rain over the hill by using a spray bottle. Same spray bottle as before. You're going to put 30 squirts of mist onto the hill, and you're going to observe what happens to the drink mix. So here we go. Now you're going to complete the rain observation section in your student journal. Next, you're going to take some scissors, and you're going to want to measure your straw to be 12 centimeters in length. We were supposed to do that earlier, and I didn't because I forgot to. Do that about right now. About right there. You're going to take your plastic pipette, and you're going to draw some water out of the well, which is your straw. Place the pipette into the straw until the tip of the pipette is under water. Place the water into a beaker or a clear plastic cup. Pump enough water so that you can observe the color of the water. Then complete the pumped water observations in your student journal.